Darkness rises, and light to meet it.
To my descendants, and those of my brethren, when you survey the greatness of our Sith Empire, you may find it pleasing to gaze down from the highest spires of our fortresses on Ziost, or to travel from one already conquered world to the next, receiving tribute from the subjects you inherited from your forefathers. But if you find yourself content to rule in this manner, I promise that your rule will be a short one. It is not enough to be powerful or mindful of the Force to survive. You must also be ambitious. And while you plan for future conquests, I urge you to examine the foundations of your fortresses. For these structures did not spring up from the ground on their own. And for all the things you have, and all that you covet, think not just your forefathers. Thank the Jedi Knights, for it is because of them that you now enjoy our achievements. It is likely you are aware of our long, terrible war with the Jedi Knights, which lasted more than a century. Yes, I was once a Jedi, a defender of the Republic, as were most of my brethren. But one must learn to crawl before learning to walk. Unfortunately, the Jedi have been walking on their treadmill of contentment for so long that most had forgotten what it was like to leap. When a cadre of more ambitious Jedi opened themselves to the dark side, they discovered the Force could be used to bend life itself. Well, that was the leap we had to take. So envious were the Jedi Knights of our ability to transform creatures into improved manifestations, they made it their ongoing duty to hunt us, the Dark Jedi, wherever we attempted to experiment and practice our knowledge. It is regrettable that we could not persuade more of our prosecutors to join us in darkness, and it was most disillusioning to be so overwhelmed on that mining world. Yes, we were forced to surrender. Predictably, our benevolent captors had not been able to bring themselves to kill us directly, and so chose to remove us symbolically, purging our names and all evidence of our existence from galactic records. And so we were herded onto a drone starship and banished, without any weapons or navigational instruments of any kind, to this previously unexplored region of the Outer Rim. Yes, there was some slight satisfaction in that we left behind some of our precious Leviathans on Korbos, which should prove to be most inconvenient for future generations. But make no mistake, we had no reason to believe we would survive. As our defenseless ship traveled into the uncharted space, guided only by the dark side, our thoughts were heavy with the losses we had suffered. But after our ship emerged from hyperspace, we soon arrived upon the world you know now as Korriban. We were astonished to find that the native Sith were Force sensitive. Certainly our so-called banishment was not the consequence of Jedi whim, but the will of the Force. The Sith attempted to terrify us with crude but imaginative illusions, some of which were reasonably impressive. Although we lacked weapons, we were obviously stronger and more intelligent than they, and yet they were still eager to prove themselves and prevent us from appropriating their alchemical secrets. It was almost immediately clear that even their most talented sorcerers were no match for us, but they demonstrated honor when they yielded. Eventually, all of the Sith, especially their Massassi warriors, lived only to serve their new masters. They really are amazingly malleable, the Massassi. New starships were constructed, weapons were fashioned, and more remarkable beasts were conceived. Although I personally prefer to rely upon the Force to create organic wonders, numerous offspring are living proof that the Massassi are biologically compatible with various members of my brethren. And so, we, who were the fallen Jedi, the fallen, become dark. The dark become exiles. We became Dark Lords of the Sith. The Jedi Knights intended to let us fall like a single raindrop into an endless desert, but they only sent us to a greater glory. While they decay in their stodgy trappings and power-inhibiting rules of conduct, we grow stronger every day. It is only a matter of time before we shall thank them in an appropriate manner. Unfortunately, a few Sith Lords, and I maintain they were too ambitious, for there is such a thing, they were too impatient to give thanks. They analyzed the nav computer from the ship that had brought us to Sith space, then reprogrammed it for a return trip through hyperspace. Obviously, I tried to discourage them. Even if they had retraced the same route, there was no way to calculate or even imagine whether the path had remained clear with the passage of time. With their newly gained knowledge of Sith alchemy and numerous weapons and warriors, they left Korriban despite my cautions. That was the last we saw or heard of them. Because so many years have transpired since their departure, it is reasonable to suspect that they neither accomplished their objective nor revealed our location to anyone in the Republic. Will there be another confrontation with the Jedi? As I said, it is only a matter of time. I am the earliest of Sith Lords Ajunta Pall. I fought in the final battle of what became known as the 100-Year War. Join me next time as we discuss Sith Worlds as told by Sith Lord Sidious. Listen, I do what I love. I hope you love what I do. This has been Lore and Legends. Until next time.